What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. A few days ago, our own mobile head, Todd Hazelton, reviewed this guy, the HTC 8X. He had it all clad up in black. We've got the blue version right here. He did an awesome job reviewing it. I've had the chance to use it myself for about a day and a half, 2 days, and I want to share my first impressions. So we can combine my first impressions with Todd's review to get a good sense of whether or not the HTC 8X is going to be right for you. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here is the HTC 8X. Some of the stuff will be a duplicate of what Todd talked about in his full review, and again, the link to that is also going to be down below. Some of it will be my first impressions. For those of you guys that know my history or don't know my history, you will know that before I started doing the tech reviewing thing, I was in marketing. And one of the toughest things that I ever found in marketing was a way to analyze all the marketing data that came across. Well, the folks at Adobe and Adobe's Marketing Cloud have found a way to sort through all that business. They put together a video called Robot with a robot getting canned. Check out a clip from it right here.
Look, this isn't easy to say, but we found a better way to analyze our marketing data.
Better than me?
Yeah, a faster way to figure out what things mean.
I've worked here 5,732 days.
Yeah.
If you want to see the full robot video, check out the link down below. And to commemorate such an awesome occurrence, we are giving away 2 $500 gift cards. Hit the link down below to figure out what you gotta do to enter and get some sweet, sweet gift card action. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice about the 8X when you pick it up is that it is incredibly thin. Feels like a razor blade, like you can cut chicken or cheese with it. Really incredible. It's not that the phone is actually that thin. It's just the way that HTC designed it. 0.4 inches, by the way, on the thinness scale. But its sloping design really sort of show HTC's design chops. Again, this is probably the best phone HTC has ever designed, in my opinion. I mean, it almost feels like there's nothing there. The 4.3-inch screen here is absolutely gorgeous. And we've got a HD screen, 1280 by 720, so yay. And look at all that stuff you can show. I've got, I think, like 15 icons showing up here. And you could have much more. I could shrink this into 4 and shrink that into 4, and you could really just have a ton showing up. I love that you can do that. And it really has been a nice addition to the HTC 8X. So some cool stuff in Windows Phone 8 and some cool stuff with HTC. Let's go ahead and start with the HTC business. If you ever use a Windows Phone, you know that each manufacturer has its own sort of apps and hub that they've got. HTC ain't no different. Let's go ahead and check out what those suckers got. So we've got connection setup flashlight, which is super handy when I take Lucy out at night to poop. And I wait for her to poop. And I wait, and she doesn't. I can see what's going on with that flashlight. That's probably more information you needed, but it is all here. Connection setup is great if you're using an unlocked HTC device. It automatically puts in all your carrier settings, which is pretty neat. So one of the big questions people have about Windows Phone is the apps. Hey John, there aren't many apps. The apps aren't going to work. Well, to some extent that's true, and to some extent it's not true. The apps that I use the most, pretty much got right here on the home screen. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Foursquare all have native apps. Some of the stuff that's not here that I wish there was, stuff like native Dropbox support, Google Drive support, and I use a program called SugarSync to keep my desktop folders synced between different computers. So no support for those, but hopefully that will come soon. There are a lot of apps though in the marketplace and a lot of great options. Other than sort of those two, I've really been able to find an equivalent for just about everything that I do, including my favorite WhatsApp. So it's really cross messaging. Anything you need is going to be here. So from a design standpoint, a feel standpoint, I love the color options on the 8X. You've got crazy lime green, blue, black. Oh, this one kind of looks purple. It's got a soft touch feel to it. It feels very similar to what we saw on the 1X, but with that little bit of a soft touch to it. Absolutely love it. I would have liked to have had some sort of expandable storage on this guy since, hey, Windows Phone 8 now supports it, but that was not to be the case. Also not here, removable battery, but you do get this really cool thin design. I've tested pretty much every phone. I've manhandled every phone that's come out over the past almost 3 years, and this phone feels the thinnest. It's not that it really is that thin. It's not really much thinner than an iPhone 5. It just feels it. So really hats off to HTC. They've learned a lot over the years with their design. So some cool stuff going on here with Windows Phone 8. Let me show you some of that. First is in the lock screen. All kinds of new stuff is going to show up in the lock screen. So first, hey, you can see email is going to show up there. So you get sort of full text that'll show up. Pictures, you can choose whether or not it'll show your Facebook pictures. It'll choose the Bing picture of the day. Kind of neat. We'll go ahead and scroll that off, and I'll show you the settings there for lock screen, something that I've actually really enjoyed. We'll jump into lock screen. You can pick your background, whether you want photo, Bing, HTC pictures, or Facebook. Kind of neat. And different applications you can have that'll show up there as well, and I can see the ones that I have selected. Very, very nice to have that here as well. I've got a lot of friends that are abroad, and they've been happy to have multiple language support here. One of my gripes with Windows Phone 8, and this is sort of a silly thing, is that you can't turn the phone off and charge it. With every other phone I've used, iOS or Android, I can plug the phone in, let it start charging, and I can power it off. Not so here. You got to put it in airplane mode and turn the volume down so calendar alerts don't go off. It's kind of an annoying affair. So that might bother you. It does bother me. It's definitely one of my quirks with the phone. But the biggest gripe I have with the phone is right on top. That power and lock button is almost totally flush with the phone. It makes it almost impossible to find and to hit. The phone is 4.3 inches, so it's kind of tall, and I've got relatively large hands, but to get up to the top to do it, you got to sort of shimmy your finger on up or move your finger up there, and it's hard to find and feel where it is. More of a gripe with the 8X, of course, and not Windows Phone 8, but it is something to consider. Other than that, it's really the only big gripe that I've got. The few things I had with Windows Phone are still here. When I push this down, it just shows me a visual indicator of how much battery I've got. I wish I could actually see the number. I know I can go into settings and see it, but I like to see it right from my desktop. I love the live tiles, so you can shrink them down to size. I've got something like weather there. It'll show you what the weather is in sort of tiny, little tiny tile. To resize is pretty easy. You just go ahead and select it, and you got a little arrow. You can shrink it, different sizes, make it giant, really whatever you want. It's incredibly easy to use. So on a previous Windows Phone, I can maybe see 6 or 8 tiles depending on the size of the screen, but now I can just see a ton. So really I don't have to do much scrolling down. Also with Windows Phone 8, you don't have any more sort of black bar on the side. A big chunk of the screen on previous Windows Phone was taken up by really just black to let you know that there were apps there. Now you can just swipe over to the side and you can access all of your apps that way and go ahead and hit home. Still the same way that you multitask, hold down the back button and you can scroll through all your apps. Part of me kind of wishes I could close them like that, but not the case, unfortunately. Overall, after just a couple of days, I'm really, really crushing on Windows Phone 8. My Windows Phone love affair has been rekindled. And for about $100, this phone really is a steal. You're going to want to be wary of the apps though, and check to make sure that the apps that you want are available. Some other new additions here: you can back up all of your application settings and store that stuff offline, so it makes switching devices a bit easier. But overall, I'm really enjoying HTC 8X. This is going to be my daily driver for a while. So if you're looking for a lower price phone and you want sort of a fun and new experience, really look no farther than the HTC 8X. So what do you guys think about the HTC 8X? Is it the phone that you want to carry for the next 2 years? A Windows Phone 8 looks to be pretty promising. Thanks to our friends at Adobe, check out the Adobe Marketing Cloud. If you want to see the full robot video, have an annotation, just boom, right here. Just click it, click my chest, and just get going. And if you want to enter the giveaway to get those 2 $500 gift cards, link's also going to be down below, and the full link to the robot video is also going to be down there. Be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com for latest and greatest tech news. I am John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.